This is the offices of Amiado Students.ch. Thanks to Frank for hosting us tonight. And these guys who just, should I say, you just got bought by Springer Verlag, which is a big success for him. I didn't say that. Tonight it's Philipp talking. Philipp's from works. I work together with Philipp at local.ch with some of the other local people. Navigation in text spaces. And you.
Okay. Is someone speaking just English? Okay.
I understand German, so don't do it in English just for me.
I prepared in English, so it's okay.
Then that's fine.
Okay. I thought that Atif will come and he just speaks English, so okay. Yeah.
And I probably will come.
He will come?
Well, finding this location is rather hard.
Yeah.
No, come on.
Yeah.
So okay. Just a little warm up. So who uses one of these services? Probably everyone. I thought that just I take some tag service. Who uses Delicious? Who uses another bookmark service? No one? Okay. I'm using Simply. No one else. Okay.
Magnolia?
Magnolia, yes.
Anybody? Nobody?
No one? What else? Yahoo, MyWeb. Okay. Who of you uses Flickr? Everyone? Okay. What else in the tags? Okay, blogs and YouTube probably, but everyone just search for videos and so on. Who also programmed tag applications? Anyone?
Planning to.
Planning to? Okay.
Yeah, next few months.
Okay.
But we are a bit late, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe after this presentation we're not going to program it anymore.
Yeah, probably.
That's why I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, Last.fm also has tags, linked list. Is anyone using this one, Sweden?
Tried it.
Okay, I also tried it, but didn't get it. I think it's also with tags. Okay. So this talk will be highly philosophical. This is a scene from Monty Python's International Philosophy. So I won't show you any code of some sort. I won't show you technical setup or something. So it will be highly subjective today. This talk.
Maybe this gives some back some boredom. Yeah. Okay.
I hope that I can go through quite quickly, so we have a discussion at the end. So I'm sure that I have my opinion on this, as this is highly subjective. I don't think that you have the same opinion. We'll see. As Felix is here, I refer to his talk. When you were here, he talked about these kinds of guys here who have their socks piled up, and this is more for the search people. You just throw everything onto one pile, and then you have a good search algorithm searching with the right sock. And then we will talk today about filers, but actually not filers as shown here. We're not really doing some sort. We are just doing this kind of thing. We just add tags to our socks. So it will be filers light. So does anyone not know what tagging is? What the folksonomies are? Okay. Because so then I won't really explain it here, except that tags generally are not another thing for categories. They are not centralized. That means there is no centralized vocabulary. You can add one yourself for just yourself, and you can add one quickly. So if you add something with a new tag, say let's say Webtuesday, and the tag doesn't exist, you just can add it quite quickly. A bit about the history of the whole tagging. It's probably a bit small for people there. The tagging, as I think of, appeared on the internet when Delicious was launched. It was about here. And Delicious took off about the end of 2003. Then there was Flickr. Then there were Sinky and Pearl. These are two other bookmark services. Then Delicious reached 400,000 bookmarks just in 2004. Then Flickr added tagging, so they thought, wow, okay, Delicious, they have cool features, let's add tags too. And then there was Thunderball who coined the word folksonomy. Yeah, you have to give names to the new things happening on the internet. Then there was Yahoo buying Flickr. Then there was a quite famous article from Clay Shirky. You probably have read that. This was when all the things were really hot. The folksonomy was really hot, and everyone was talking about tagging. And Clay Shirky thought, okay, this is now the new thing. Hierarchies are gone. We are doing everything with tags. So tags are the answer to everything. This was this kind of area. Then Flickr added a nice feature, tag clustering, and we'll come later on to that feature. There was a book called Wisdom of the Crowds. This was not particularly about tagging. I haven't read it, unfortunately. But as I saw on the resume on Amazon, this was about, yeah, just if you take many opinions together, they are smarter than just some centralized opinions. Then there was library thing that, yeah, basically this is a new service about tagging your books you read or you bought. Then Magnolia was another copycat of Delicious, as also Sync and Furl were. Yeah, this was really hypey. In the mid of 2005, everything was about tags and so on. In the end, Yahoo also bought Delicious. This was kind of, yeah, how do you see, vorhersehbar?
Predictable.
Predictable, exactly. But then tagging was kind of, as I see it, no one spoke about tagging anymore. So this was big science here. And then Raw Sugar, this was another service with bookmarks and tags. They closed actually, which is quite sad because I think they had a good service. So it all became quite quiet right now, and now I just saw that there's in Basilians.com. This is you can buy things there. So it's a kind of marketplace. So you can say this camera is cool because it has these kind of features and so on. And they had added some new tagging as well, and they added faceted tagging, which is that you just don't just have one big tag area, but you kind of make small areas like tags for how experienced you are. I'm just a beginner, and so on. You probably know Gartner's hype cycles. I thought this kind of relates pretty good to Gartner's hype cycles. They say basically that there are different times of a new technology, and I just quickly read it what they say about the different cycles here. They say there's a technology trigger. That it was when Delicious took off. There's a breakthrough. public demonstration, product launch, or other event that generates significant press and industry interest. So this was delicious, it grew big, and I guess this was the technology trigger actually. And then there was a peak of inflated expectations. It was here. It says a phase of over-enthusiasm and unrealistic projections. The only enterprises making money at this stage are conference organizers and magazine publishers. Yeah, there were some crazy articles back then. Like tagging will kill search, this is the new Google, everything will be different. And even I think I made statements at this point that I now regret, because yeah, you know, when it's hype you think that this is a new thing. Yeah, I thought this would take over the world. This is just, yeah, this is really new, this is really cool. And then there's the trough of disillusionment here. The point at which the technology becomes unfashionable and the press abandons the topic because the technology did not live up to its overinflated expectations. I will come to the expectations, I think, that are with tagging. And then there's a slope of enlightenment. So if Gardner is right, we will see this with tags as well. I don't know. This is just a theory. It's focused experimentation on solid hard work by an increasingly diverse range of organizations led to a true understanding of the technology's applicability, risks and benefits. Commercial off-the-shelf methodologies and tools become available to ease the development process. So this has yet to come. There are no tools. This is just we're still in the really base thing, like how do you add tags to your application kind of things. So yeah, we are not yet enlightened. And in the end, this didn't fit the slide. There will be a plateau of productivity. Real-world benefits of the technology are demonstrated and accepted. Tools and methodologies are increasingly stable as they enter their second and third generation. The final height of the plateau varies according to whether technology is broadly applicable and only benefits a niche, or only benefits a niche market. So I definitely think that tagging didn't reach the big market yet. So it will show if it is applicable to the big market. We will see. Let's come to the expectations. Why do you want tags anyway? There are some reasons. The first one is retrieval. You see here, this is an bibliothek, library, and this is kind of pretty new stuff. They managed to stuff more books into a smaller space. And then you probably don't see there's a robot here that gets the books, so you can retrieve your books with a good system. And tags is actually, I think, the first thing that comes to my mind is you can retrieve your bookmarks to save with a fairly good technology. You just add tags and then you can search for those tags when you think, oh, I visited that page, and then you can enter the tag and then you most probably find the page. But there are other options. The problem is that when you tag, you see the page, you see the title, you see the content, and then you come up with different tags as when you search. Because when you search, you don't really know the title of the page, so you are kind of in a different situation, and this makes the retrieval quite hard. And yeah, then you just have this kind of problem. For instance, when I thought about giving this talk, I started tagging some sites, and I couldn't find them afterwards because I used some strange tags. I didn't come up afterwards. other options than tags. For instance, is anyone using Google History? Okay, just one. It's basically you install the Google toolbar and then you say send every URL I visit to Google. So this is kind of nightmare for how to say
privacy people.
Privacy nightmare. But I don't really care. I think they are nice people. And, I send them all the URLs I'm visiting. And then the nice thing is that you can have, and then you have a full text search of all the pages you visited. And probably you remember some words of the article, or just one sentence, or a name, or something, and it probably works better than tagging. Then there are other options you can, for instance, there's a Firefox extension you can install, and then it stores all your bookmarks on a certain central server. Then, so when you're home, you also can access your bookmarks, and there's a Firefox extension as well that you can add tags to your bookmarks. So you don't really need to use the central services that like Delicious. Another thing of tags is that you can send links. If that's my username on Delicious, if you tag something with /Fred, it will appear in my account somehow. The problem is that I don't use Delicious anymore, so I won't see it, and I'm not subscribed to the RSS feed of this tag, so we're never sure if this actually comes to my eyes. So more reliable would be sending an email to me or sending a Skype message or other things. So this is not really, this is a feature of tags, but not really reliable. Then another cool feature I think is that you can build lists with tags. As I said, finally I came up with a good tag name for my presentation. I wanted to store all the images and pages I wanted to refer to in my talk, so I added the tag Webtuesday to everything I found. And actually, in the end, you have a list of your items which you can share. So the pages I will refer to are shared with you, so you can read all these things I'm referring to. I personally think this is the best, the killer feature of tags. Like with you have also, you can also subscribe to tags. You can have like a group. You can build a group and say, okay, we want to share links together. Let's add tag blah blah group blah blah, and then everyone is subscribed to this group. And this is really a really flexible model for this group link exchange and subscribe thing. And the last feature I think that tags wants to sell us is that you can explore you can find new items. Like you can browse the public tag space, and then you kind of go through the tags and through the items, and they are good organized, and it's just a magic space where you can flow around and find new things and so on. But actually, I think this is exactly the thing that is broken with tags, and that is not yet really. This feature isn't here yet. There are some basic things that are here. For instance, Delicious Popular. I don't know if you know that one post. It says actually what you actually find on Delicious Popular page. You just find houses about round corners, again round corners, blah blah round the corners. 10 ways to make round gardens, how to pick up girls who like round gardens, and so on, and so on. And actually this was the reason why I quit reading Delicious Popular, because it was just about design over and over and over and over again. And yeah, design is cool, but after tons of pages you think, okay, I've seen it. So, but I think this is the problem of all the front page like Dig or whatever, Reddit and so on. Reddit actually has a nice feature where there are subreddits where they stick to a certain topic. And I think that actually this can be done with tags as well, because with tags you categorize things. So it would be, I think it would be quite easy to have a kind of popular page per topic in a way. So I think there is much way for improvement here. No. And there are tag clouds, and I don't really like tag clouds because, yeah, you see, it's just a mess. Actually, tag clouds normally are just ordered by alphabetically, so this doesn't make sense at all because the alphabet is just arbitrary. So yeah, why sort by the alphabet? You better would sort by tags that are similar to each other. So you probably have here one tag clouds about design, and here one about another topic. Yeah, I don't know why everyone adds tag clouds to his applications. Yeah, probably you see the most popular tags, but then you can also have a list of the most popular tags, so this doesn't make sense. To get a feeling of the data, probably it's just the site owner who wants to get the feeling of his data. So this doesn't really make sense. For me it seems like everyone has tag clouds, so let's add tag clouds as well. I don't know what it's for, but just, yeah, I just added it. Okay, then let's come to some philosophy again. I show you how navigation is possible in the web. So to see how navigation can be improved, I first want to show you how I see navigation on the web. The ideal world, you want to search this, and your computer kind of knows what you're thinking, what you're searching, and it reads your mind, and then it shows you the item you're searching for. Actually, this doesn't work, as you all know. So when you have just search, you have to type in one word that you think is quite close to the thing you're thinking, but you don't really know what the thing is, because yeah, you kind of new to the topic, and you really don't know what to search for. You just throw in one search term here, and you find one page which is pretty close to the page you're really searching for, and you find another word that is closer to the word you think. That is probably the word everyone uses in his blog post. So you take this other word and you come to another page and you do the same thing again, and then you get the perfect word, and you finally find the page you are looking for. And that's how I often search for pages. You improve. It's kind of a bootstrap process where you gain knowledge every time you find a better item, and then in the end you are at the page you're searching for. But as this is the web, we have hyperlinks and not just Google, which is quite good, and especially the situation became better with blogs. I think there are more hyperlinks, the pages are better linked to each other, so yeah, it becomes better and better and better. So when you search for something, and you again want to reach the red dot here, and you come to a page, and the page has an hyperlink to here, and then unfortunately this page doesn't know of this one, but this one knows of this one, and then you finally, on the way you reach the page you are searching for, the information you wanted to have. But the problem is that often the pages aren't good linked to each other. Either the writer of the page doesn't know about the other page, or this is a company who doesn't want to link to its competitors, or probably these are also photos that don't have hyperlinks, or I don't know, classified, or whatever, that just don't have hyperlinks to similar items. So it would be nice to have an external service that finds similar items. So it kind of is smart, and it just adds the missing links here. And this could be such a categorization page, like Delicious is. Yeah, where you are probably you're somewhere here, and you're thinking I'm lost in hyperspace. So you ask Delicious, please tell me the similar page to this one. So you find this one or whatever. Let's come to a concrete example of this. This I found on Reddit. This is actually a guy going to ice caves, and it has some impressive photos of it. And you think, yeah, these are nice photos. Let's search for similar photos like this. So you want to ask a service, let's show me similar photos to this because I like them. So the problem is that you say, I want more, but more of what? It could be that you are searching for more cave photos. It could be. Or you just like the eyes, like the light coming through the eyes. Or you just probably think, this is a cool photographer, Jason Golly, I want to see more photos of him. Or you think, yeah, this looks really nice, I want to do a trip myself. So I want to do a course, I want to have the map of the place they got there. So it's not really clear. The similar idea is not, I want a similar page and the service can give it to you. So the service probably has tags for this page, and the tags give you a kind of idea how you can search for similar items. The tag is the page is called Eyes in Cave. This relates to real life objects. Then has the tag Jason Golly, which is a person. Then this is a MIME type, and these are geo data here. So the service could actually come up with a question. When you press the button, show me similar items, the service could come up and know that these tags belong together to one facet, and it kind of can actually ask you the right question. So here you think, yeah, I like to find pages that are similar in the sense that they also have eyes. They are also about eyes, and they are about photos. Which is what you can do with Delicious. You search for tags, for bookmarks that have the tag eyes and the tag photos together. And when you do that, you find here a link. Genève, I think it's our Geneva. Is there another Geneva in the road?
Yeah, it is. But it's ours here, I think. And I see the picture, I think it's it's this one. It's this one in Switzerland.
I don't really know if this is fake or not. It looks pretty fake here.
It's real. It's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm pretty lucky to find this page because it's quite similar to that what I found first, and it's similar in the way that I wanted, actually. So probably I say I want even more. I want to not to have exactly the similar pages, but somehow similar pages. So I want really to navigate through the space. And unfortunately, so this just has ads here. So I don't know, I don't want to click on ads, so I'm kind of lost here. So I think, okay, so I go back to just one tab. I go back to eyes, just eyes. Probably it gives me better means of navigation. So if you look to related tags here, they are kind of odd. Okay, cream is probably ice cream. Okay, ice ball is probably a snowball with ice. Ice queen, okay. You don't think that these are really similar tags to ice. Because a similar tag to ice, I suppose, is snow or water or cool or refrigerator or something like that. So it doesn't really work. Yeah, it works, but not in the sense you want it to work. So a little explanation of how the list is most properly built is this. When you tag something with ice, and you also put the tag cream in it, the tag relation ice and cream gets 1 point. And it goes through all the bookmarks, everyone is tagging, and then the tag ice has related tags to each other, to it. So it just searches the tag that is linked the most times with the tag ice. Is that clear? It's more hard to explain than it is to get, I think. But this computation just feels it just seems odd in a way. Why do we have to do this? Why do we have to do this computation? Because when you have hierarchic categorization, when you say I want to categorize this page, this is under I don't know, this is under objects, this is under cold, this is ice. When you have this kind of categorization, it takes you longer to categorize, but then in the end you have a hierarchy, and in the hierarchy it's much easier to navigate, because in the hierarchy you have neighbors, you have natural neighbors, you have the child-parent relationship, and you also have the sibling relationship. So if you come here to the tag Arthur, they are not tags, they are names, but let's suppose they are tags. The service could come up with its siblings, so it doesn't need to be smart, it doesn't need to do computation, so it kind of feels that the navigation is working better in hierarchical categorizations. So I think the easiest way is to add this kind of hierarchy, which is what raw sugar did. Unfortunately, they died, so the service doesn't exist anymore. But they had hierarchical tags. So when you added a tag, let's say the Jason Golly, for instance, this guy, then you could add person greater Jason Golly, and then you could build yourself a hierarchy of tags. And the system was smart, so it added all the hierarchies together in a smart way somehow, and then it created a global tag hierarchy. And this actually worked quite good. When you were searching for restaurant, you had these related tags to it, these subtags, which make quite sense. This is just the kind of questions you want to ask the user. Similar to restaurant in kind of what you want to search for European restaurants, for a certain location or style of food and so on. This was their solution. Another solution to, which isn't actually hierarchical, but another solution to this navigation problem is the kind of elastic tag maps. So you probably have seen it in some way or another. Actually you click on one tag, like here usability, and then you are shown the singular tags, again the tags that appear most of the times together with your usability tag. And this is kind of a cool thing, I think. I use it a couple of times for other information spaces, and it works quite well. But the problem is that it's kind of fancy and hard to integrate with the rest of the site. So it doesn't. It's just you have to pop up this window, and then you are just in this window, and it just doesn't really integrate in the rest of the site. Because otherwise, I think it's not that bad.
But is this just another visual representation of the related tags you showed before?
Yeah, actually that's true. Yeah.
So it's not hierarchical.
No, that's not hierarchical.
Something like a mind map or something.
But you're right, it's actually just another presentation. But
so if you have eyes here, you have the same tag.
Yeah. Exactly. So I will show you what I think would be a good solution to this problem, which is tag clustering. And clustering as itself is just the way to group singular items together. Here it's pretty obvious. If it's displayed visually, normally clusters. Our eye builds clusters quite naturally, so you just group them together to one group, which is a cluster. Here you have 4 clusters. So I spent some time with the tag clusters, and it helps you to build a hierarchy, because when you start with just this bunch of tags, you can add clusters around these tags, which is the first level of hierarchy. And then you can even add another hierarchy stage, so you can kind of build your hierarchy up and up and up.
Hang on. So how are you building the tags? Do the users do it too?
Sorry?
Do the users do this? Like on Delicious, you can group tags.
No, this is just fully automatically done.
Okay.
Which is, on Delicious you can group the tags, but this is so tedious. I didn't really use it because I've got about 2,000 tags, and no way. Which is, I think, that hierarchical tags are a good thing, because you can group the tags as you tag. Yeah.
Okay.
But let's say the users don't want to put hierarchy into the tag data itself, so you want to have a way to build these clusters. And this is just the way I did this. I subscribed my program to this RSS feed. So you have this is the latest added bookmarks feed of Delicious, which when you bookmark something, then it appears in this feed. Every bookmark, also the spam bookmarks, which is kind of hard thing. There's a spam as well in tags, which is quite problematic. But then you go through. Actually, this was a list here, but okay, it disappeared. You go through all the bookmarks you get from this list, from this feed, and then you see what tags are in this bookmark. So here there are 4 tags, and you build this related graph I told you about just before. So every tag here is virtually combined with all the other tags in the same bookmarks. So you get this graph, and then you get the next item, and then you add all the relations to this graph, so the graph gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And when you get a tagging software, social software combination again, you just add this number 1 up. So yeah, that's how it works basically. Just ask questions if it's too fast or whatever.
So this is still one cluster at the moment.
Yeah, the clustering isn't done.
Okay.
I'm just preparing the data before I can cluster it.
That's you.
You can do this per user as well.
But you will.
Here we're not.
It was for the global space, but you can.
And not just the newly added tags, but also all historic tags.
Yeah, especially if you own the service, then it's pretty obvious. But yeah, when you don't own the service, it's kind of hard to. You have to say
Do you remember what you have, these relations that you, then you all, if a page is tagged twice, 2 new tags come to it. Have you remembered that you already have the relations from the old historic tag relations, or do you just add them up again? Because that would be unfair. Do you see what I mean?
No.
You have one page. Go back one slide. You have this side, and this has 4 tags. And now I add a 5th tag here. Would you add? Would that give you a 2 between tagging and social software?
Ah, okay. So the bookmark probably appears again when you re-tag it. You mean this?
Yes.
Okay. Then yeah, I didn't remember that one. Because I thought, yeah, most users don't change their tags, so
It's not about changing. It's about different users adding different tags, and you count for the old tags again.
If another user comes with the same URL, for instance, and adds these 4 tags and the 5th.
Just the 5th.
No. This is when another URL comes and he adds just 1 tag for himself, then just nothing happens. It doesn't inherit the tags of here.
No, not the same URL.
A different URL.
We can discuss it later.
Yeah, and then in the end you just add everything up and you get one huge graph, which is quite big because you have all the tags of all the users over a month or so. So you get a really big graph. So, but we are not really further than Delicious was before, because here now when Delicious does exactly this, when you search for Web2.0, then you get the tags. The most related tags is semantic, and the second related tag is tagging, and the third is collaboration. And this is kind of unfair, because if probably the tag semantic is really popular, it's more likely that it appears together with Web2.0. So the strong tags are favored all the times. And tags that always appear with Web2.0. If you tag Web2.0, you always use the other tag, but there are just a few users doing that. Then it doesn't get high counts, so it kind of doesn't work. Do you get it? Okay. Actually, this is a problem in mathematics. This is the similar thing. There are some similatory metrics, which is the only equations I have here. Matching is the thing we just did before, and let's give you an idea how this works. We just compute the dice number of 2 tags, which is the probability that these 2 tags appear together in one post. You know this because you have all the tag relations, and you know you can compute the probability by dividing the number we had before here by the total number of all relations together. This is then the probability that these 2 tags appear together in your sample, that is. you take this number 2 times, divided by the probability that this tag appears in one bookmark, summed up with the probability that this tag appears in one bookmark. So you have the probability in the of the single tags in the equation, which gives it it kind of gives you a long tail as well. The tags that are seldom used, they aren't just cut away because they are so too seldom. You get really the similarity kind of thing. But the problem is you still doesn't have clusters. You still don't have clusters, which is what you do right here. Okay, this is probably too bright. It should be pretty, but your eye probably does the clustering. This isn't done automatically. I just did it by myself, but I did it in a way I think that the cluster algorithm would do this as well. This is a common problem in graph math. You have here a graph with nodes and edges, and you want to cut. So the edges cut have a low weight. So this is the min cut, I think. No, min cut algorithm, like something like that. And the algorithm actually has to come up with a number of clusters, which is a pretty hard thing. Normally you start doing you do your clustering with 2 clusters, and then you have a metric you have an equation that gives you a number of the quality of the clustering. And then you try to do this with 3 clusters, and the measurement comes up, yeah, this is better. And then you're doing 4 clusters, and this is even better, and 5 and 6. And then you have a graph like this. The number goes up and up and up, and then you're pretty good, and then it goes down again in the optimal thing. Problem is it could go up again. It's kind of hard to find the optimal cluster, but it is possible. But it's quite hard, and I try to do this myself, and as there are eigenvalues in the equations and all this stuff, I learned in university, and I hope that I could forget forever. They appeared again. I tried hard, and I came up with some clusters, but it didn't really work. So if you do it yourself, please take an existing solution. There are some solutions that are pretty good, that are done by mathematicians, which are smart, and so on. If you actually search for one, I searched for some, I found some. Actually, I didn't use any of them because I didn't find time for using it. But I think it could bring some good results. Then, in the end, what you do, you want to give the cluster a name, because you want to present the cluster to the user. And what you do is you count all the incoming edges to one node, and you sum the numbers up, and the node with the highest number is the cluster leader. I just did this because I thought this was pretty obvious. This was normally the central tag, and it works quite cool. So good. So you have here a technology cluster with computers in it, and hardware, and do-it-yourself, and gadgets. Then you have an RDF. This is the semantic web cluster here, which is probably better called semantic web actually, but okay. The tag RDF is used more often. Then you have here the tagging, this is just the tags and folksonomy. And then you have the Firefox cluster here with extensions, and browser, and so on. You see, it doesn't really, it isn't the right categorization, because Firefox is a browser, so it should probably be the browser cluster. But in a way, it isn't the right categorization as it is right per definition, but it's right as it's right for users. But I often just for instance, the tag Google and the tag China, this was back 1 year, when I did this thing, they were used together quite often, so the tags were closely related to each other because of the censorship problem China had, Google had with China. So it kind of displaced the mind of the community, which is not bad at all, I think. Because that's the problem of categorization. It's right, but it's right for, it's not right as you think it's right as it's defined right. So this is a user-driven categorization, so it will be a user-driven hierarchy of this whole thing. Okay, this is all nice and it has colors if it would be less bright, but what can you actually do with clusters? That's the question.
Thank you.
Or are there questions about the clustering algorithm? No? Actually, I mentioned it, Flickr added clustering. If you type in the tag Jaguar, then you can, somewhere there's links for Jaguar clusters, and it shows you exactly the question I talked about before. I want similar tags, similar photos to Jaguar, and then it asks you, do you mean the car, do you mean the animal, or do you mean the guitar? Which is actually quite good, I think. It looks pretty cool. They somehow did it. What they did not exactly the thing I tried to do. They took one tag and then they just took the tags that are used together with this tag, and then they just clustered this graph out of this around this central tag, and then they clustered this this graph. This is one possible use case. Then I wanted to do something with clusters myself, so I told you about my idea to cluster the front page of Delicious, like cluster Delicious popular page. I did this 1 year ago, so the pages are quite outdated. And actually the clusters weren't really good, but you probably get an idea what I was